Hey everyone, today we are unboxing and setting up the UGREEN DXP4800 Plus. If you're a photographer or videographer like me, you know the struggle increasing file sizes for your stills, 4 and 8K video projects. It really adds up, and especially I'm on the road a lot working in a different city to my editor, so this should come in really handy. Now actually I've relied mostly on direct attach storage in the past for the interface speeds, but given that I'm regularly working with bigger teams and that I'm filming when I'm overseas or in different cities and I need to get the files to my editor, I think this could be the solution if it's able to keep up with my kind of workflow. Now, full disclosure, when UGREEN first reached out to me, I actually didn't know who they were. I hadn't heard of the brand, but I chatted with my different tech kind of brains council, and my good friend Junio had actually backed their wildly successful Kickstarter campaign, and this exact model is the #1 bestseller on Amazon with rave reviews. So that all boded well, and it looks like it could solve a problem that I'm having with my workflow. So let's open it up and take a look. Something I really appreciated from seeing on other people's setup videos and kind of seeing what they focus on is how easy they make it to set up. You don't need to be a total tech guru. In fact, I don't know that you need any tools to get into this one and get it up and running. Now, full disclosure, UGREEN sent me this free of charge and they're sponsoring this video for me to demonstrate what this does. I want to be completely transparent with this. This is a paid promotion. I also genuinely hope that it's going to improve my workflow. So let's open this guy up and see what's in the box. Looks pretty sleek. Okay, what just came off there, that is the magnetic dust filter. That's nice. Again, toolless, so you can prevent dust getting in through via the fan, but then just take it off with magnets. Pretty nifty design. The top, you can see we've got the 4 bays there. There's actually more to it than I'm going to show you, but this is all completely hot swappable. So I'll show you how to do that. So click, click, click. And then the drives actually go in and they themselves don't even require any kind of tools. It has just a tension system to lock the drives in. In terms of accessories, clearly labeled, manual and warranty card, the power adapter, and an extra little user instruction, like a quick setup guide. In the other side, we have the Ethernet cables and cables you need for connectivity, screwdriver and spare little screws, which is handy. I guess there's a few things that need that, so it's got spares. And then 2 SSD pads. So these are, if you're going to use SSDs in the drive, to space it out properly and make sure that it's all nicely balanced out. So all the bits and pieces that we need. So the underside here does have 2 screws if you want to get into the guts of this guy. So let's just open it up. I'll quickly tell you what this guy features. So the machine itself has the 4 bays that, as I mentioned, they're hot swappable. You can use different capacity and different brand drives in there if you want. Just keep in mind, if you're using RAID, the total capacity will be based on the size of your smallest drive. It's also got 2 NVMe drive slots that you can pop in just here. That, think of it kind of like RAM or buffer like you would on a computer. It's much, much, much faster than hard drives, so you can use that to speed up your workflow. As well as using big 3.5-inch traditional hard drives in this, you can actually use 2.5-inch SSDs if you wanted to. You're just going to have less capacity and it'll be a lot more expensive to build out. The unit itself has 128 gigabyte SSD, which is the system drive. That's for its own working processes. And then on the back here, you'll see this guy has both 2.5 and 10 gigabit LAN ports, really handy. Also USB, USB 3.2 and HDMI. So a lot of connectivity options here, but it's really the 10 gigabit LAN that's the big selling point. That's going to let you transfer files around at blazing fast speeds. We'll just close that back up for now. On the front, you'll see we also have a built-in SD card reader, USB-C, and another USB 3.2. The drive itself has 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, which is expandable up to 64 gig. And setup is so straightforward. From what I've seen online, I don't think I've ever seen one so easy. So it's toolless, as I said. There's a little tab here that you push and it expands out to the side so that it's a little bit wider. I've opted for using Western Digital 18 terabyte drives. So with the RAID I'm using, I'll explain what that's going to give me, but essentially it's a 4 drive system. So when I'm doing 4K, 8K, that kind of thing, I want maximum capacity. So we're going to put it with the terminals facing down and out, just sit it in there. Then this just slides back across. There's pins that hold it all in place, and it's literally that easy. Then it's all lined up, so it just clips in and the drive is mounted. So let me just mount the other 3. Okay. So look, genuinely over the years, decades, I've set up so many different storage systems. I've never used one that was this simple to get all the drives in. This is sponsored, but that's just the truth. Literally a minute or 2, no tools, and boom, all 4 drives are installed. Installing the SSDs, the NVMEs, would have taken a minute as well. You've got those 2 screws, but then they just clip in there. And hey presto, it's now ready to configure. Once it's powered up, you log in through the web interface, and UGREEN makes it super intuitive to get it all set up and choose the different configurations that you want. For media professionals and, enthusiastic amateurs who are dealing with big files, the real win here is reliability and speed. The ability to use the 2.5 and 10 gigabit Ethernet connections means you're able to transfer files around at really quick speeds, the kind of speeds that we used to only get with direct attached storage. Now, to get the fastest transfer speeds possible, you're going to want to think about how you connect the DXP4800 Plus to your network and how it interfaces with your computers. If you're lucky enough to use a router or a switch that has 10 gigabit Ethernet, plug it straight in with a 10 gigabit cable, and that gives you the absolute fastest performance for massive photo and video files and batch transfers. If your router doesn't support 10 gigabit, but you want a boost, you can use a multi-gig switch that lets the NAS and your editing computer talk at 2.5 or 5 gigabits, whilst the rest of your network stays on standard gigabit. If you're on a laptop, check if your USB-C or Thunderbolt dock supports 2.5 gigabit or faster. Many do, and it's a simple way to get a plug and play for better bandwidth. OWC also makes a 10 gigabit to Thunderbolt 4 adapter that will quadruple your transfer speeds, just a simple little box. Desktop users can also consider those options, but you can also check out a 10 gigabit or a 2.5 gigabit network card that unlocks those higher speeds, and it'll just be in the tower, and they're fairly inexpensive. And while of course you can just use your NAS over the Wi-Fi if you plugged it into your router, for heavy video editing and large raw file transfers, you're going to get the smoothest experience if you do it over a wired Ethernet cable connection. So what does this offer for us as photographers and videographers? The biggest one is going to be centralized storage. Instead of juggling external drives, everything lives together in one place, organized and backed up. Instead of relying on cloud services, for example, this gives you instant access to your data, and it's not dependent on your internet connection speeds. Next up is data protection. Now, the RAID option means your work is safe even if a drive fails. For peace of mind, for client shoots, or just maintaining your own personal files with integrity, I'm using RAID 5 on this system, which gives me 54 terabytes of usable space. Essentially, one of them is redundant, so any of the drives could go down, my data will be safe, and I just have to replace that drive and it will rebuild itself. Next up is remote access, and this is really important. If you're on the road, I'm going to Bhutan next week, and I want to get access to some files. My DAS systems, I don't have that access. With this, I'm able to connect to it from wherever I am in the world and pull the files down securely. Also, collaboration. If you're working with editors or retouchers or second shooters, the ability to have a centralized storage that you're all able to access is so helpful. It's embarrassing to admit, but I have found myself with my editor when we're in studio, sometimes passing SSDs and even media cards back and forward to get files to each other that are too big for AirDrop, which is ridiculous. We could just be using this. And when I'm in a different city and needing to get footage, I've literally FedExed SSDs across the world before to get them to editors. If I have a decent internet connection, I can upload to this and then they'll have instant access as well. And I know it's all nice and secure because it's my own. Finally, it can act as a media server. Yes, this can do full Plex services. You can view pictures and videos, watch movies, and all of that kind of thing. You can use the UGREEN app to manage and classify your related files with the NAS connected, and your phone or PC can access it from anywhere in the world. Some of the features of this guy, it supports really large hard drives. So despite being so small and only being a 4-bay unit, this will give you up to 136 terabytes of usable space. According to UGREEN, this guy will let you get up to download speeds of 1250 megabytes per second, which means if you're moving around like files that are gigabits in size, this is going to be so much faster than trying to upload them to Google Drive or the cloud, that kind of thing, and getting them back. As an example, here uploading a 6.4 gigabyte video file to Google Drive took me about 12.5 minutes on my blazing fast Hong Kong internet connection. Transferring the same file to the UGREEN on just 1 gigabit Ethernet took under a minute. With 2.5 gigabit, you could expect it to take about 25 seconds, or just 6 seconds on a 10 gigabit connection. So if I'm uploading it and then my editor's getting it back, doing it via this on our local system is going to be a lot faster. This guy also has the AI Album Assistant, which I was, again, chatting to my tech brains trust, that apparently works really well. So it can go through your photo albums, identify and classify people and places, and then you're able to use keywords to search for the media that you're looking for, and that's all built in straight out of the box if you enable it. Of course, it supports all kinds of different file formats, and also you are able, if you want an additional backup that you can just do over time, you are able to sync the data between the NAS and Google Drive as a secondary backup as well, but you don't then need to rely on that internet speed when you're doing your editing. So look, it's not a huge unit like I'm often using, but I do think this guy, again, the UGREEN DXP4800 Plus, hits a sweet spot for a lot of creators. It's not overly expensive. It does give you quite a bit of capacity. You can get up to that 136 terabytes of space. And it's got the speed to handle the kind of files that we're working with in 2025. A lot of the units that I've used in the past were fine at their time, but they just weren't up to the modern workflows. This having the 10 gigabit Ethernet is really going to future-proof it to an extent. And I do think whilst cloud backup is great as a second or third backup, I do think having things on site, especially whilst you're still working on the files, is the better option, more secure and faster speeds. So if you're serious about your photo and video workflow and you have the budget to invest on something like this, I think it's a modest investment that does have the potential to improve your workflow and save you time and improve your data security over the long run. As part of UGREEN sponsoring this video, they're offering 20% off to anyone in the community who wants to pick one of these guys up. You can check out full details in the description below. Thanks again to UGREEN for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you guys for watching. Let me know any questions you have, and let me know if you'd like to see a full editing workflow video done with this guy. If you haven't already, do like and subscribe, get your gear out, shoot, and make some great files to fill these guys up. I'll see you guys soon.